In Fate's Grand Order, servants are becoming ever more specialized. This is especially true of the many free-to-play servants set to arrive this 4th anniversary, and there may be no better example than 2-star Berserker, Salome. She is an anti-lawful good specialist, and has what I've decided to call Inconvenient support utility. The development of low-rarity servants into specific niches is a positive one, and there are few servants as niche or specialized than Salome, who is an anti-lawful good specialist. This is facilitated through her first skill, Bloodstained Silver Platter, rank B+. This buffs her already decent base damage by up to 20% for 3 turns. However, its primary appeal is the additional damage buff it grants against lawful good enemies, a buff of up to 50%. This damage is primarily directed through her art's noble phantasm, Femme Fatale Baiser, which inflicts single target damage and afflicts the victim with a curse, the multiplier for which scales with overcharge. While her damage against non-lawful good enemies is fairly mediocre, even with class advantage and the 20% attack buff, she can put up solid numbers against lawful good opponents like Kana, Jeanne d'Arc, and Martha. Given that she is something of a rarity amongst low-rarity berserkers by possessing an Arts Noble Phantasm in addition to a double Arts deck, the question naturally arises, can she loop? Well, it is strictly speaking possible, but requires extreme support and luck to make it work. She will need a plethora of Arts and NP game buffs, or straight up NP batteries from servants like Waver. This gives her the chance to loop, provided she can pull off an Arts Brave Chain and is able to get either excellent overkill value or high critical damage, the latter of which is something relatively difficult to achieve given the low star weight of her Berserker class. So in other words, it is difficult to pull off, but not impossible. And for some masters that are a particular fan of hers, it might be worth exploring. And that's the good stuff. Here's where the problems begin. Of all the new free-to-play servants coming this 4th anniversary, Salome is without doubt the weakest. Why is this? Well, firstly, her Noble Phantasm is quite impressive against lawful good enemies, but decidedly mediocre when it isn't. So she lacks overall damage compared to many of her competitors. However, perhaps her biggest weakness is in regards to her niche. While it is great that she has a focus, not all niches are created equal. Looping farmers, critical supports, and world destroyers all have their place. But Salome's just isn't that good. An anti-lawful good niche, which consists only of a select few servants, is almost too niche. And beyond these lawful good opponents, her damage output is downright poor, failing to justify using her over rival options. But perhaps there is redemption to be found in her second, more supportive role? Aside from her anti-lawful good niche, Salome's second role is of an NP battery support. This is conducted through her third skill, Dance of the Seven Veils rank A. It offers the party as much as a 100% battery for each and every member currently on the field. But there's a catch. This battery only triggers after 7 turns! This is too long. Much too long. Salome is a fragile 2-star Berserker, and protecting her for that length of time is nearly impossible, as Dance of the Seven Veils also comes with an added effect of removing 1 defensive buff from Salome every turn. She's going to need protection. Taunts can provide this somewhat, but the point is to charge up relevant and useful Noble Phantasms, not bloody Astalon. So how do you keep her alive for these 7 turns? Wait, there's her second skill! Yes, Natural Body, Figure rank C, which gives her 1 hit of debuff immunity over 3 turns, increases her defense by 20%, and gives her 1 hit of invincibility! Oh, the defensive buff remover. But what if the buff comes from somebody else? What about from Mystic Codes? Now, it's not impossible to make work. There are a few ways. You can use multiple taunts, and time combat to ensure that if she's exposed, you're only facing weaker waves of enemies while waiting for the charge to become active. Alternatively, you can use a variety of taunts to protect her until the 7th turn, at which point you sub in the servant you want to actually receive the battery for one of the inactive taunts. This could work. While the battery is great in theory, surely there are easier ways to go about this. Actually using it is inconvenient and impractical at best. Salome is by no means a terrible servant, but of the new batch she is undoubtedly the weakest, with the biggest flaws within her kit. Masters who are a fan of hers or who want to experiment with a low rarity arts Berserker can have a lot of fun using her. Use the servants you like. Meta isn't everything. As with all these servants, I thoroughly recommend that you summon for them, as they really do make the game a whole lot funner. I've been Students, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like, comment and subscribe, as I'll have new servant breakdowns coming up over this anniversary period. I've been Students, thank you again for watching, and I'll see you soon.